Cameroon's parliamentary building goes up in flames as the third ordinary session of parliament gets underway. Zimbabwe's military takes over control of the state barely days after President Mugabe fired his vice president. Africa's richest woman Isabel dos Santos gets fired, and the gun control debate in the US takes a new twist as a gunman fabricated his own weapon before carrying out an attack. This is the Global News Weekly with me, Giyo. The third ordinary session of Parliament for the year 2017 started on Wednesday this week. In his opening address, House Speaker Kabaye Yege Jibril said only open and sincere dialogue can solve the current crisis in the Anglophone regions of the country. He also called for national unity and patriotism. Conspicuously absent were parliamentarians from the main opposition party, the SDF, who boycotted the session, stating it was due to an insufficient response from the state on the Anglophone crisis. A video later emerged on social media in which members of the Jakiri constituency in the northwest region were seen asking the Member of Parliament, Honorable Joseph Wiba, not to attend the session. In a related development, on the night of Thursday, the parliamentary building caught fire. Eyewitness reports say the flames seem to have originated from the 4th or 5th floor and spared the bottom floors. The cause of the fire is yet to be known, though it is thought to have been an accident, as told by Minister of Communication Issa Chiroma Bakari to the CRTV. Still on Thursday night, Cameroon social media was thrown into a frenzy after the results of the written part of the competitive entrance examination into the Higher Institute of Administration and Magistracy were released. The frenzy was caused by the appearance on the list of the names of President Paul Biya's two children, Brenda and Junior Biya, as well as a third name simply written as Paul Biya. Before the social media frenzy could die down, a letter was circulated from the Minister of Public Service and Administrative Reforms annulling the results, citing non-respect of procedures in the release and scheduling the new release on a later date. In other social media news, Cameroonian socialite Loretta Nula, who resides in Maryland this week, went live on Facebook to spit fire at the CEO of Crif Entertainment, Ebanganjang, who equally resides in Maryland. In a profanity-filled video shot in her car, Loretta Nula, among other things, accused Ebanganjang of pursuing a sexual relationship with music icon Magasco and of ruining the career of artist Mike Monster. Loretta Nula was reportedly triggered by an interview Ebanganjang granted entertainment news site Toride, in which she called Ndzi Panchak a situation artist, meaning he tunes his art to current events and issues. Loretta Nula has since issued an apology to Magasco for getting caught in the crossfire. Ebanganjang, Magasco and Ndzi Panchak are yet to speak on the issue. In sports, the finals of the Cameroon Women's Cup was played this week. The fixture was a repeat of last year's game and saw last year's winner Loves Minprof take on Amazon Fab. Nku and Gacho scored as Amazon Fab beat Loves 2-1, ending Loves' years of domination. Angola's president, João Lourenço, has fired the daughter of his predecessor as head of the country's state oil company, Sonangol. The billionaire daughter of former President José Eduardo dos Santos is Africa's richest woman with a net worth of $3.4 billion. Early this month, Isabel dos Santos was the lone African woman in Forbes' list of the world's 100 most powerful women in 2017. Angola, which is Africa's second biggest oil producer, has been experiencing a drop in oil prices. Some critics, however, suggest Isabel's firing is a political move by the president. In Zimbabwe, the country's military early this week took over the country after making an announcement on state TV. The military earlier said it wasn't a coup and they were targeting some unscrupulous authorities. President Robert Mugabe was later seen in public as he held talks with some military officials. The coup came days after he fired Vice President after accusing him of attempting to unseat him using witchcraft. The First Lady Grace Mugabe is yet to be heard from. Popular Egyptian singer Shireen Abdel Wahab is facing trial after a video emerged of her making comments about the Nile termed by officials as provocative. On Tuesday, Egypt's musicians syndicate banned the 37-year-old from performing, stating that she made an unjustified mockery of Egypt. The syndicate also said it was going to open an investigation into the issue and won't grant Abdel the necessary permit till she answered questions before authorities. She later apologized, stating that she made the comments over a year ago in the United Arab Emirates. According to state newspaper, her trial kicks off in December at the Cairo Misdemeanor Court on the charge of spreading provocative publicity. A Kenyan official has said 2 male lions seen having sex in photos were practicing what they learned from gay tourists. Ezekiel Mutua, the head of the Kenyan Film Classification Board, was reacting to a viral video shot by UK wildlife photographer Paul Goldstein in the Masai Mara Game Reserve. Mutua went on to dismiss the lions' actions as demonic and called for them to be kept apart. Meanwhile, Australia has voted to legalize same-sex marriages. In a non-binding survey, 61.6% of Australians voted yes to same-sex marriages. The vote paves the way for the Australian Parliament to make the next decision about the issue. A man in California identified as Kevin Johnson Neal went on gun rampage this week, shooting 4 persons after allegedly killing his wife. Authorities say he hid her body in his home, then went on shooting at random structures on the streets. The 43-year-old also fired into an elementary school but was stopped from entering the school by teachers. Media reports suggest he manufactured the weapons himself. This has brought about an entirely new turn in the ongoing gun control debate in the United States of America. In this week's sexual allegation news, U.S. Senator from the state of Minnesota, Al Franken, is the latest high-profile figure to be hit with sexual assault allegations. Senator Franken is accused by news anchor Leanne Tweeden of groping and kissing her without her consent during an overseas trip in 2006 when Franken was still a comedian and not yet a politician. A photo has equally been circulated showing Franken appearing to grab Leanne's breasts while she was asleep. Senator Franken has since issued an apology, calling himself a good man and encouraging a Senate ethics investigation into the matter after Democrats and Republicans, including the Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer, initiated calls for an ethics investigation into the matter. This comes as the U.S. House of Representatives votes to pass the tax reform bill and President Donald Trump receives criticism for an oil spill on the Keystone Oil Pipeline and for reversing an Obama-era rule that banned the importation of trophies earned for hunting elephants from Zambia and Zimbabwe into the USA. Those were the stories that made the headlines this week. Thanks for staying with us. See you next week for yet another edition.